Everyone in the service industry has a story. Crazy customers, wild orders, and WTF moments. Do you want to start a tab? The podcast here to bring you those tales from behind the bar.
My name is Carl. I have 11 years of bartending experience and some stories to share of my own.
I'm Riley, and I have a year of bartending experience and a few more in the service industry in general. I have a couple stories, but I have even more experience watching him work and watching his stories unfold.
You are an avid guest.
I am an avid people watcher at the bars where you work.
So what we're going to do today is we each found a couple stories on Reddit that we're going to read to each other for the first time.
Yes.
And we're going to react to that story and give you our views of if the guest or the bartender or both were an asshole.
Right.
Or in the wrong.
Correct.
And what maybe could have been changed throughout the incident. Obviously, we don't have all the facts behind it. We're just going off the stories that we found.
Right.
So, yeah, it should be a fun time. And sometimes we'll have guests, but to get started, it's just going to be you and I. Bummer. So, yeah, you want to go first? What are we drinking today?
I am drinking the Pucker Up Right Meow, the Cherry Pie Pastry Sour Ale, approved by a cat with a ray gun from Back Pocket Brewing out of Coralville, Iowa.
Yep. So they're an hour and a half away from us. It's a local brewery that we enjoy thoroughly.
Yes.
I am drinking 2 NA cocktails because it is dry January and it's been a rough 2022. Not really rough. But I have a Negroni and a Samuel Adams non-alcoholic, just the haze. For the beer-wise, it's an okay beer. And as
Especially
I
if you don't
spilled,
spill it on yourself.
and the Negroni is way good. It's all right. So Riley will go ahead and get started. Also, as a FYI, we're going to read these as is and not correct these or correct the grammar of the story.
Correct.
So bear with us, please.
So this one is called Going to Sam's.
Okay.
And the user from Reddit has been deleted.
Uh-oh.
It was posted 3 years ago. Excuse you. Please don't headbutt anything.
Fuck me.
So I'm a bartender at an inexpensive Mexican chain. We have some pretty good tequila, but it's still for our middle-class target. So this guy comes in. We will call him AH for asshole. Every time he goes to Sam's Club. It's across the street, and we see a lot of people in town for shopping. Is this in Dubuque?
I don't know.
He makes me list every tequila we have every time he comes in, and he complains. And he complains that. Oh shoot! I lost my place. Okay, he makes me list every tequila we have every time he comes in, and he complains that all of the tequila we have will give him a headache. This time, it took a weird turn. Convo today. I am AH. You need to tell whoever orders the alcohol they need to order some good stuff. OP. Okay, what brand specifically would you like to see up on the shelf? AH. I don't know. All these tequilas here give me headaches and makes me sick. But I'm going to go back to Sam's because I'm the bitch and I need a couple margaritas to make me feel better. OP. What do you mean you are the bitch now? Chuckles nervously. AH. My girlfriend is a doctor and she makes more money than me and works more than I do. So now I have to go grocery shopping and do the dishes and clean up the house and all that. Staring in disbelief.
Poor sucker.
OP. You mean normal everyday stuff literally everyone needs to do regardless of status or in out of a relationship? AH. No, I've never gone grocery shopping. I'm a man, a man's man. I go out to eat, not shop for food or cook. That's why I'm here. OP, fair enough.
Yeah, this is Dubuque, Iowa.
That was all I could say at this point. I would have been fired if we had continued this conversation. Not looking forward to his next shopping day. Oh, and he paid for another table and told me how good of a person he was the rest of the meal. And he had 2 more hand-squeezed, fresh, double skinny margs. Oof. Grand total, $117.94. Tip, $15.
Ugh. These people frustrate me. It's, I'm going to tell you the problem, but I'm never going to offer a solution for that problem. You
Right.
need to figure it out.
Right. It's your problem. Figure it out. Fix it. I'm here to complain because I'm mad about my life.
Right. Exactly.
And
So
I'm
you're,
a man's man.
so you're going to take it out on this bartender that's just there making, if it's a local chain, so they're probably nothing doing too crazy behind the bar, like cocktail wise, obviously margaritas.
Right.
And
They've
maybe,
got margaritas in a barrel and they want you to order that.
right. And, a Paloma, that's probably about, then they're just pouring beers and whatever. So, yeah. If you're going to say to get better tequila, you have to tell them what kind of tequila you're looking for.
Right. Because what kind of tequila is better?
Right. So it's just like, I'm interested to know what tequila they had to
Right.
judge him saying, then you're not drinking, you must just not like tequila.
Right.
Because that's probably at the end of the day, that's what it is.
If you drink 2 double skinny margaritas and go grocery shopping, you're going to have a headache.
Right. Well, I mean, it's less sugar, right? I mean, that's really, so it's less sugar, but.
It's the tequila that's giving you a headache.
Right.
It's better tequila is not going to make it better.
No.
I mean, marginally, but like not enough to be significant.
Right. It's just frustrating. And then he tips 10% on it, on the bill, right?
Yeah.
The bill was like $111, $120, and he tips $15.
It was 117, so he technically tipped slightly less than 10%.
It's like 9% then.
Right.
And then it's also frustrating when these people, they tell you, oh, you did such a great job. They're just talking you up as if that's part of the tip and that's good enough to like.
Right. Well, and it didn't even sound like he did that. It sounded like he was like, "Oh, I paid for that table over there. Look how good I am. Look how good
Oh,
I
that's what
am."
that was.
Yeah.
I was kind of confused.
Was him like doing
Paying
something
it forward.
good, and then
So that even frustrates me more then if that's what he did. He paid for another table, which is fine. That's a good gesture. Whatever. I'm not worried
cool.
about
If
that.
you have the
Yeah.
means to do that, that's awesome.
So then he's paying. So he just screwed over another server, unless it's the same bartender's table, right?
Right.
But like if this is like a different section, he just screwed over that person's tip from doing all the work.
Right.
And he only tipped 9% on the total bill. So now they got to split that $11, $17, $15 between
Yeah,
two of them
$15.
if it's two different servers.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. And we haven't even gotten started on the man's man situation.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what you married one.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm the bitch now. What do you mean you're the bitch now?
Right. Like, be happy.
I don't cook. I've never been grocery shopping. I eat out and that's what I do. Oh, well, I'm sorry for you.
Then why'd you marry this woman?
Right.
Like, why'd you even start dating her knowing that she makes more than you?
Well, I mean, it sounded like it was a recent thing where she just started making more money, but still, like, that's a relationship.
I wonder then too, like, did he have a really good job and lost that job, or, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. It's interesting. Like this is where it's going to get exciting. Like, I want to know Matt's backstory. Like,
Right.
now we're just totally guessing here and trying to figure out what drove this human being to doing all
I
of
did
this.
read in the comments.
Yeah, let's read
that,
some of the comments and see. Because sometimes the OP will update it.
somebody asked, somebody named Succubus Prime, which A+ name. How the hell did he land himself a doctor? Damn. And I guess the OP said he has a PhD and is a physician assistant.
Okay.
So
they're in the related field.
right. So he probably graduated before her and then she started moving up or something. So like he was the breadwinner and now she's the breadwinner, for how antiquated that phrase is. So now he's probably struggling with some masculinity issues, like, oh no, he is, because he says I'm the bitch.
Right.
Like, no, you're an equal part of your relationship. If you choose to see it as being the bitch, maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship.
It's like dads saying that they have to go babysit their own kids.
Right.
It's like, no, you have to be a father.
You have to parent your children.
It's
I
like,
hate that.
it is funny because I always watch the woman's reaction because I like sometimes they don't like, it doesn't process that's what they meant, but man, the ones that do, they get super angry. It's so funny. But yeah, I don't know. It's bartender's not fault. She offered, how can they make it better? And he just didn't want to tell her how to make it better.
Well, and as the comments go further, the margarita that she made him, I'm assuming she, because somebody was talking about the recipe, asking how many limes and lemons she had to squeeze, and it was like 2 limes, a lemon, and half an orange. That she shook by itself, and then she added the tequila to it, and then shook that again with fresh ice and blah 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 blah. And I guess the OP says, I'm not sure if that's the standard recipe, blah blah blah.
Right.
And OP says, well, yes, but no, that's the way the customer told me to make it. The restaurant has a different recipe. So not only does he have the audacity, all of it, he now has the audacity to tell her how to make a skinny margarita.
Right.
Which is, I mean,
it's fine.
it's fine, but like on top of it, that would just set me over.
Right. Because when people ask me how to make a skinny margarita, I'm like, well, what do you want it to be? And then they start asking me, or do you have this random ingredient? I'm like, no, I don't have that because we don't do that here, but I can just put less agave syrup in it for you.
Right.
If that's what you want. Because that's basically, you just want less sugar.
Right.
And most of them are like, okay. And they're happy with it. But like, yeah, irritates me to the fullest because I would, if I was this bartender and you wouldn't tell me what type of tequila to get, I would just, I don't know. I would just explain to them like, look, you either, I don't know. It's hard.
I'm going to continue to give you Juarez until
Right.
you give me a better option.
Right. Because, yeah, I just like, okay, then what tequila do you drink at home? That's what I would ask, you know?
Right. And yeah, obviously he had no idea.
Well, he goes to Sam's Club. He probably gets Members Mark tequila and enjoys the shit out of that.
Oh, I bet.
Which is fine.
No.
It's fine.
Yeah.
If you're doing parties and stuff like that,
But like for real, is this in Dubuque, Iowa? Because we do have a local chain restaurant across the street from our Sam's Club.
So, and this kind of attitude would definitely go by with a guy.
Absolutely.
So,
it's a very small town Midwestern.
okay, so what do we want to rate? So I'm going to assume we both agree that the customer is the asshole.
Oh, absolutely.
And the OP sounds like they did a superb job
Yeah.
bending at his requests.
Yep. Accommodating.
Mm-hmm.
The bartender was very accommodating.
Yeah. We're going to give each story a rating of 1 through 5, 1 being like an average interaction between guest and bartender or
Right.
service industry person.
Yes.
And then 5 will be holy wow, holy wow.
Holy wow.
Holy wow, Batman. Gee willikers.
Right. And 5 will be something like that just stands out as either horrible or hilarious or crazy or something like
There's an extreme
Right.
to that story.
the higher the score that we give it, the more noteworthy or outstanding that story is.
Yep. So what do you give your story?
I mean, given that this is a generic asshole dude in the Midwest and probably, I mean, I know I worked at a Mexican restaurant and I experienced this guy at least one time.
Right.
So I'm going to give it a 2 just for the overt sexism he showed.
I give it 1.5 for basically the same reason.
Yeah,
Like
like-
it's an average story that you deal with. It's the same customer that you get a lot. Like, I have these specific needs. I don't want to tell you how to fix it. And I don't like what you have to fix it, or I don't like your suggestions on how to fix it. So I'm just going to keep being an asshole.
Yeah, I'm upset about my life and I'm taking it out on you.
Right. Exactly.
So actually, you know what? I'm going to change mine because I totally forgot that decimal points were a thing. So I'm going to give it like a 1.3.
Okay. AJ events.
Yep. Because like, yeah, that interaction is probably every bartender has a story like that, especially female bartenders coming in with male customers coming in and trying to scream at them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because they're unhappy with their lives.
Yep. I agree with that. Like I said, I think that just kind of showcases, I think, not an everyday interaction, but that is a common interaction that a bartender can have with people. I have that stuff all the time. Like I don't have what they want and they get mad at me for it. It's like, well,
my favorite thing that I've witnessed in your bar recently while you pull up your story was the woman who thought there wasn't enough alcohol in her glass when you made an old fashioned because there was a half an inch of line between the top of the glass. Oh, it needs to be more full. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Right. Yeah, that happens. That doesn't happen too much, but it does happen once in a while. All right. That's a good way to kick off our first episode.
Yes.
And if you have any stories from either you being a bartender or a server or being on Riley's side of the bar as a guest and you just saw this crazy interaction, go ahead and go to our subreddit, Do You Want to Start a Tab? We love to hear you put your story on it, and we will eventually read it on the podcast.
Yes. Or do we have social media set up?
Yep. We have Facebook, Instagram.
Or send us your stories on Facebook or Instagram.
Through the DM. Yep.
Correct.
If you're not a Reddit lover.
Correct.
So, yeah. All right. So I have a story here called, this is in the subreddit Bartender. What subreddit was yours in?
Bartender stories.
So was mine. So that seems like right now to be like the bigger pool of it. Mine was from 3 months ago, posted by Homeboy Sucks.
I like it.
Dude, Reddit's got the weirdest usernames.
Right. And you know what? I'm here for the creativity some people show. Like every time I try to change my handle. I think it's handle.
Sure, I don't know.
I'm like, I don't have anything to say.
Right.
What is it going to be? Cat Lover 5 billion?
Cat Lover 90. Why 90? I was born in 90. Jesus.
So
All right.
kudos for the creativity.
Yep. All right, Homeboy Sucks. Titled, My First Day Back, Already a Shit Show.
Sounds wonderful.
All right. Just got back from 2 weeks of medical leave. Rolling 15 early just so I can get settled. Pretty dead weekday. My regular Lush is having her sushi. She's here 3 to 5 days a week. Cash out my lotto, folks. Cut some fruit. Getting back in the groove. Lush asks for a double Tito's. I check. She only has the sushi on her tab. All right. 10 minutes later, another double. Tell her she needs to take a break from this because she's swaying. Offer to call her an Uber. She says she's waiting for a friend. Bar manager gets here, and I let him take over while I change the kegs and restock. Come back, check the POS. She's ordered 2 more doubles. She's waited for staff change because she knows the schedule. We let everyone know she's cut off. She chugs her soda. We realize it looks clear. She's been pouring her shots in every time our back is turned, so she has extra when we cut her off. She leaves to catch her Uber. We hear a crash. She has gotten in her car and backed into someone's Lexus. Going back through the transactions, there's a few double Tito's on a different card. She's obviously closed out before I got there, acting like it was her first drink. We all had to write statements to the Liquor Control Commission that she purposely closed out and opened tabs for 3 separate bartenders and lied about driving. Literally any of us would have called her a car. She's tipped us out fat and is really sweet generally. What a first day back. Always something in this industry.
Yeah.
I will say this. I've never had to experience anything like this before.
You better knock on wood right now.
Well, we're only open for like 8 hours and I'm there the entire time.
Right.
So this is obviously a restaurant where, you eat and you sit there for a while. So she's probably coming in like at 2 p.m, having her first couple of drinks, and then eating her sushi and closing.
Man, ordering sushi is not what you want to have when you're drinking heavily.
No, not at all.
Sushi sounds delicious.
Right? But like, I also wonder though, where's the communication on the bartender side when he comes in saying, oh, because like that's the thing too. Like when I worked at the brewery and we're switching shifts, we kind of like,
hey, here's who you watch out for.
Right. Like, hey, they've been here for an hour already and they close already. They close out with me already, but they've already done this or that. So, but again, if it's your first day back, you're not thinking everything. You're not going through the motions of how you normally handle things.
Right. Man, she was absolutely being manipulative.
Mm-hmm.
And she sounds like she has a history of manipulation like that.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously she's definitely the person at fault in this situation.
Right.
And I don't know.
Yeah, it makes you wonder how many did she have before this?
Yeah.
Like
and if she's drinking double Tito's, that's what a standard pour is usually 1.5 ounce.
So she's drinking 3 ounces.
Of Tito's.
Yeah.
At least. So she's had at least half a bottle of Tito's at that point.
Almost, yeah. In probably a short amount of time.
Right.
Yeah, that's a lot. And obviously we don't know like a lot of information. Like, is she a little is she a little woman, and stuff like that to where it hits her harder? Maybe she hasn't eaten anything, but like you said, if she's eating sushi,
that's not holding anything.
That's holding anything. But yeah, I don't know. Then she gets into a car crash. Like that's
instant karma, in my opinion. Like if you're blatantly manipulating me and then you have something like that happen to you, then you deserved that.
Right.
But also, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But like, don't get behind the car. Don't get behind the wheel.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, yeah, just. And also, like, how long was he gone to restock and change kegs? And she's already put back 2 more. Like, is she just slamming these bitches real quickly?
No, he said she was putting them aside so she could dump them into her soda because he would only serve her soda.
Yeah. It's smart on her eye.
Yeah, I mean, she
clever.
Was
not smart. Let's put clever down.
Clever and manipulative, but clever just the same.
Right. Yeah. I mean, staff handled it pretty well, it seems like. I guess it should just be more communication when you're changing out bartenders about guests who are already at the bar to kind of give them a heads up of how much they're drinking or how much they have drank so far.
Right. And again, if she sounds like she's a regular, so they should have known.
Right. It's not like this is her first time.
Yeah.
But it is funny. Like, I remember when we went to San Diego last year and my first shift back was a shit show. It was just like, are you serious? I'm walking back into this today.
Right.
Like, it was not fun. Like, I mean,
I get the same way when I go back to work after a vacation. Like, I'll forget to ask when a client's last comfort check was or what time they ate lunch. So I'll try to give somebody lunch at 5 o'clock or I'll try to give somebody dinner at 5 o'clock and they ate lunch at 2.
Right.
And then they hit me in the face.
Yep. I don't see any updates by the OP on this story at all, just to make sure that they were not held accountable. But I'm going to assume they weren't, since they had to write those letters and go back to the transactions to show that she had closed out multiple times.
Right.
And so, and it's too, like, when they tip Pat, your brain kind of like stops caring because like they just gave me a lot of money.
Right.
Like, oh, like I don't want to do anything to piss them off for next time.
Right.
So it's like, you kind of got to separate the money too, because you want them alive to come in next time. But it's also just like, well, what are they hiding sometimes too?
Right.
So, yeah.
It's like my favorite thing is to watch couples who are obviously not each other's primary come into the bar and see how much they tip you, because it's like you're in cahoots with them even though you're not in cahoots.
Yeah. I work at a hotel bar, so.
Yeah.
So we talked about that, like how many affairs are happening and going on. Like, I always ask questions, and it's usually, what are you guys up to tonight? Or what are you guys going out to eat? Because usually, it's before 7, they have not eaten yet and stuff. And my boss goes, you shouldn't ask questions. I'm like, why? Like, well, what if you ask something that like brings something up that they don't want to talk about? Like, then they won't talk about it. They'll just blow me off. Like,
then they'll deflect.
Right. But I'm not asking like, how long you guys been married? I don't ask stuff like that because I already know you do not ask that kind of information.
Right. And customers have no problem asking you those questions.
No, they don't. Not at all. Why are you not wearing the ring?
Where's your wedding ring? How's your wife feel about you not wearing a ring?
Obviously, she hates it, but I do it anyways because I'm a manly man. I'm no bitch in this relationship, bitch. God. This shit people spew out of their mouth. And that's the whole point of this fucking podcast. Is just like us to vent to you and for you to understand, like, don't be this doucher.
Don't be a douche to your service folk.
God. We're going to talk about it. You are talked about.
Right.
We talk about it in the back, or when we go out later that night, we're like, oh, that asshole.
Right. And God forbid you run into him at the bar you go to when you want.
Oh, fuck. I need to stop telling people what bar I go to after work.
Yeah, you need to stop telling people lots of things.
okay, okay, so obviously the customer is the asshole in this situation. The team seemed like they did a fairly okay job. Like, I mean, again, there's probably a lot of variables we're missing here, and sometimes, what if they're busy, right? Like, what if she wasn't the only customer? What if they were pretty stacked right now? So that could be something too that,
Right.
they didn't have time to go over every person at the bar, right?
Right.
So again, there's variables that we're not aware of in here. So we just do our best to assume, which is fun.
Right.
Excuse
Because
me.
that's all the context we have.
Yep. And so I just, like the last one, I think I'm just going to give this story a 1.5. It's just, this isn't an average story. You don't hear about this all the time, but
You do though.
You
like
do,
it's
though.
you every day you have customers come in trying to manipulate you into giving them something that they shouldn't have, whether it be underage people trying to drink or people who have been cut off who try to convince you that they're not that drunk.
hey, if you hook it up fat, I'll take
I'll
care of
tip
you.
good, yeah.
No, you won't, bitch, because that's 50%. That's good.
Right.
20% standard. Don't, whatever. So
So I'm gonna because the karma hit her so quickly,
yeah.
I'm gonna go 2.2.
Okay. Yeah. I wonder too, like, did she have insurance? Did this Lex, like, I wonder what like the aftermath of all of this is.
Because I mean, you don't often get to see the consequences of somebody's actions play out in real time like that.
Right.
So yeah, but that was a basic story, I feel like.
So there we have it. Our first episode of Do You Want to Start a Tab? I think we're gonna keep this pretty casual all the time because this is supposed to be fun and educational for you guys.
and for bartenders, if we do find stories, when we do find stories where the bartender was an asshole, those will be my stories.
Those stories always include me, I think.
Probably.
But yeah, definitely. I said check us out on Reddit, Instagram, Facebook. Do you want to start a tab? We want to hear stories from you guys, read them, and just, again, lightly sprinkle our conversation viewpoints over them.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Heavy. It's going to be heavy.
Right. It's going to be the whole salt thing. I don't know what to call that thing.
I don't know.
But, all right. Till next time.
Bye.